Hello everyone, welcome to ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve your chess. In today's video, I'm going to show you a beautiful game played between Arjun Erigaisi and Arvind Chithambaram, and it was round number 8 from Dubai Open. And before we check this game, if you are watching this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. So here I am looking at this game from Arvind's perspective. So here Arjun simply opens the game with 1 e4 and Aravind replies with the move c5. We have Sicilian on board. So knight f3, e6, d3, knight c6, and we have pawn to g3. So what variation is this? It is French variation of the Sicilian, but it's looking like white is going to ensure the bishop on g2. So it's more of like a King's Indian attack for a Sicilian defense. So here he plays the move pawn to d5, striking in the center. Knight b d2, supporting his brother. Knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7, castles, and we have rook e1. After this move, he relieves the tension in the center with the d takes e4, and Arjun also takes in the center with the d takes e4. And in this position, he plays pawn to e5, stopping the further advance of e4 pawn by white. So knight c4, attacking the pawn, and we have queen c7. All are natural moves so far. So here he plays knight e3. I think is trying to put the knight on a d5 square here. So I guess, so for this he plays rook d8, first grabbing the d file, and then after knight to d5 he attacks the queen as well as the knight. So he simply exchanges on d5, knight takes d5, we have e takes d5, and with this position, or in this position, he plays the move, an amazing move here, bishop e6, taking advantage of the fact that the the pawn is pinned against the queen. So here he plays the move knight to g5 to grab the bishop, and here interestingly he simply takes the knight here because now he has given up the bishop pair. So now bishop takes g5, so f6 is very natural. So bishop e3, and in this position he plays pawn to c4 because that pawn was under attack. Now after this move, Arjun thought for a while, and he went for this variation, that is going down without the queen, so taking on e6. We have rook takes d1, we have rook a takes d1. So I have marked here the imbalances in the current position. The imbalance is very simple to understand. There are two rooks for a queen, and a bishop for a knight, and another bishop for a rook. That means Arvind Chithambaram is up a exchange now. So this imbalance, I guess it is good for white, I guess, but he has to be very careful while playing, or trying to control the position. So we have rook d8 directly going for an exchange here. So bishop c5, rook e8 attacking the pawn, and after this he plays pawn to c3, knight stopping any knight jumps. But okay, the bishop and the bishop is controlling the same square, and the rook is controlling, but still he plays the move c3. That's good. So we have rook takes e6, and now bishop to d5. So another important move in this position is bishop to d5 because he is pinning the rook here. And after queen c2 defending, we have bishop takes c4, king h8 unpinning, and in this position he did not capture the rook, because if you capture the rook like this, then we will be having this kind of variation where we have queen and the knight, and still okay, both are okay, but white has to be careful here again. But in the game he went other variation, tactical variation, that is bishop takes a7, because we cannot capture the bishop because of the following forcing variation. You cannot touch the bishop. If you take the bishop, then we have rook d8 check followed by queen g8, and we have this complete winning in game for white. So considering this, he plays the move rook e8, and given the chance, so he took the chance now. So bishop c5 going back, and now we have e4. So with bishop f7, rook to d8 challenging the rook, and he plays bishop to d5. So after this he plays queen to g4, activating the queen, and in this position he plays the first blunder of the game, that is bishop to b3. It's blunder because we have rook takes d1 followed by rook takes d1, and now we have h6. And while simplifying this all these pieces, actually it is going to help the one who is having the queen here, because of the good pawn structure, and an active knight is very good for black. So that's why it's not recommended to exchange the pieces. Rather than, I think it is better to put the rook on second file here. Yeah. So after queen g4 we can play rook d2, and after knight e5, the natural response we can even capture here, queen takes e4 followed by bishop takes e4, rook takes d2, and yeah, it's equal game again. We can simply hold this position with the two bishops. So for going back in this position, after bishop b3, he goes for the exchange here. And after this move, he plays h6, covering the back rank because we need to activate the knight. So bishop e3, and we have knight e5. We have rook d8 check first, and then king h7, and he plays the move bishop f4. So attacking the knight here, but the problem is he leaves the king undefended. Like many of the squares around the king are so weak, and immediately he plays the move knight to d3. And in this position, rather than playing the bishop f4 move, he could have tried rook to d5 in this position. So idea is very simple. If we go with this natural response like this, after king g2, knight e1 checking f1, knight d3, bishop c2, knight takes b2, rook to d4, and it is okay to play with this position, but still black is better. But in the game, by playing bishop f4, it is like now in the evaluation it is 5 plus for black now. So he goes knight d3 first, attacking the bishop, and he plays bishop e3, knight e5, and now again bishop f4, another move, same move he plays, and now we have knight f3 check. After king g2, he plays knight e1 check, forcing the king to f1, otherwise it's going to be a mate. King g1, king h1 would be a blunder. So king f1, and then we have knight to d3, threatening the bishop again. And not only that, we are going to push the pawn at one point of time, like we are going to pin the pawn, and then we can simply push the pawn. So after bishop e3, we have queen f3. This is what I was talking about. So we have a king g1 unpinning immediately, and knight to e1, threatening mate in 1. So he plays the move king f1 again, and in this position he plays knight g2, threatening the bishop. Once the bishop goes, and here Arvind Chithambaram pushes the pawn, and now it's completely losing for white, because after the natural moves like bishop c2 check, we have f5 covering that square with the pawn, and you can even sacrifice the bishop, but the thing is the queen is still pinning them pawn. And even if you capture the knight here, I'm going to capture the pawn with a check, and this is what happened in the game. Actually, this is the line. So king h3, and we have first of all we have to unpin the pawn. So queen h3 check, sorry, queen f1 check, and followed by king g4, and we have e2. But after e2, rook d7, and then in this position after queen f8, covering the g7 square. So there is no trick left for white. So this pawn promotion is unstoppable. So in this position, after 45th move, Arjun Erigaisi resigned the game, and so far he had a very good performance in the game, I mean in the tournament. And in the 8th round of this Dubai Open 2022, now he has been stopped by Arvind Chithambaram. So now he has by losing this game, he lost around 6 points in the rating, and now he again pushed back to the lower ranks in the live rating. And yeah, it's a very good game for Arvind Chithambaram. So that imbalance thing is very nice. I hope you enjoyed this commentary. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. In case if you are watching this channel without subscribing, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. As usual, this is Chess Wiser, your wise choice to improve your chess.